Ansah. George Danso out there in the maze from Graphic. Godwin Avenyogbo, the Grand Master himself. We're glad for you to join us today. But my son, my producer, Salom Yondowenya, I see you there. Tony Awuvi, I see you. But folks, until the lions have their own historians, you know it. Tales of hunting would always glorify the hunter. And you know, I'll say that again. Well, folks, I said until the lions have their own historians, the tales of hunting would always glorify the hunter. Hello and welcome to the most opinionated hour on radio and the nation's thought-provoking hour. Another beautiful Monday is here with us again, and we are here to perform the finest ritual on radio. And as you know it, it's different. It's unique, it has depth, it brings great minds together. And folks, can you believe it? We even disagree agreeably. Oh yes, we disagree agreeably. And it's on no other platform than the great Joy 99.7 FM. The only platform probably mature enough to handle such a show. And I always say thank you to those who were brave enough to unleash us onto this platform. Folks, I am Ansah, Kwao, Chief of the Little Republic of Akwamo Edumasan. Welcome to That's My Opinion. Our topic today, folks, COVID-19 kyire politics. COVID-19 kyire politics. Simply translate, COVID-19 hates politics. Truth be told, folks, I had wanted to call this show I Told You So. Oh, yes, over the weekend, I thought, you know what? I'm going to call this show I Told You So. I wanted to start with a rendition of a Frimamu song, Yano Mebibrima, where the wise man is admonishing us that the world is leaving the black race behind and that we should seek for wisdom, for if we do, we shall find it. He says we should be bold enough to move forward, take a step forward. Inch forward, for if you do, you shall progress. In the song, he alerts us to pay attention to the happenings in the advanced world. The honesty, the uprightness, the cleanliness. Pay attention to what's happening in those worlds, because it is not beyond you. And Dr. Ephraim Mahmoud desperately calls on black race, black Africa, not to sit, do nothing, and just wait for disgrace. But it seems to us it's just a rendition for choirs to sing once in a while. Most young people have not even heard the song or even know about it. I go to places to speak and I said, sing this song for me. And they're thinking, how does it go? It's news to them. For us, the depth of the song, the meaning, the message, the words, we've just thrown it to the dogs. And you'll be once in a while. Folks, our inability to prevent bad things, with which we even have the benefit of hindsight, is just staggering and amazing. We know that every year, every month, this thing happens. Getting closer to December, we'll be dying on the roads. Easter, we'll be dying on the roads. We know it. And we sit through it, and then they'll come and give us the records, and we're like, wow. In Tibida. Meanwhile, we've been living with it. We seem to be numb, powerless to do the things that will bring actual change. Those at the top, the change makers, the green pen signature holders, won't even dare to make that change. Folks, we at the bottom, we wouldn't even take it, even if they tried. So our problems linger and stare at us in the face And it keeps coming back to bite us year in, year out. And as I said, we always act surprised. Hey, the thing that keeps, we're surprised. We're very good at that. Folks, in every cloud, there's a silver lining. And in the midst of misfortunes, folks, sometimes are blessings and big blessings. In fact, most misfortunes, if you search deep, look deep, there is a blessing. And you learn something from the misfortune. So when COVID-19 first hit our shores, I think we were quick enough to manage it as a country. The practice of social distance, we even went, as far as, locking down for a while. And to a great extent, we kept the virus under control. We were indeed the pride of many nations. Yes, there were hiccups, but compared to other nations, even richer nations, we definitely would have won an award or a medal if there was a race. We did a show here, folks, right here on That's My Opinion, where I said, if we are not dropping dead like these big nations were, if once again the good Lord has spared us, if God has shined his face on us again, if he has smiled at us again, then let us press the nation's reset button. Let us begin the fight for economic independence, which is actually the true independence, folks. I mean, there are bigger nations that are not republics. Canada, Australia, although they are not republics, but they have economic independence. The Queen is still the head of state there, but they don't care because they won't go to the Queen for chop money. So as for political independence, Joe, it's just dedekeke. But if we are here and we can make our own living, we can feed our people, we can take them to hospital, we don't care who's the president. So that was the true independence that I thought we would hit the button and go for. Folks, no one will ever give us or hand over power to us, particularly economic power. So now that, folks, at the time when our masters were on their knees, it is said that you don't kick a man when he's down. But folks, when is a better time? If a giant you are fighting falls, do you wait for him to get up so that you clench your fist again, or you kick him while he's there? But it seems we are even still waiting for them to get up. Folks, it was time for serious and radical change. I think the time was ripe for radical change because all of a sudden we were obedient citizens, obeying our presidents. Fellow Ghanaians, wear masks. Fellow Ghanaians, don't fully load your cars. Fellow Ghanaians, I have closed the airport. Fellow Ghanaians, jump, sit, sleep, stay home. We obeyed everything. All that was needed was, fellow Ghanaians, the time has come to bite the bullet for real change. Not this hypocrisy thing we're going on. No. It was time to bite the bullet for real change. And I'm sure would have just said, yes, sir, master, 3 bags full. Folks, I said then that we can't wait for this virus to go and then we begin business as usual. Oh God, I prayed. Folks, I just prayed that this was it. So that we just change our path and our course in history. Because as things are going, folks, should Ghana live another 200-300 years and our great-grandchildren come and read our history, they would wonder, what were our ancestors and forefathers thinking? What were they doing? They would wonder that once upon a time there were people who would import oranges and go and get it back in a box when it has been boiled, cooked with no nutrients in it, and drink it and say they were elite. They would have talked about their ancestors who shipped all their natural resources and they gold out and then they go and buy it back from Dubai and say, look at my watch, it's from Dubai. They will go to Switzerland and bring post chocolates and say, look at it, I brought post chocolate from Switzerland, when there's no cocoa tree in Switzerland. That's what they will read about us. So I was thinking this was the time we were going to change our story. I prayed. However, folks, that change cannot come from the MPP alone. The NDC must be part. This nation is split into two. So one half cannot instigate any change. It has to be a whole nation. Even the plan to fight COVID-19 would have been better if it was bipartisan. Clearly bipartisan. This is a disease we are going to fight. It's not point scoring, nothing. It's a disease. But there was no room for opposition. As usual, opposition in Ghana means enemy. Instead of how Osei Ajatapo of Avetime puts it nicely, that opposition should be seen as complement. And I think it would have been fine, a complementary party. Instead of the opposition party, if we had just called it the complementary party, I think there would not be so divisive and fighting, and there would be some complements. Osei Ajatapo, the 7th of Avetime, he says opposition should be seen as a complement. Fast forward, we were getting close to December 2020. Rallies must start. Campaigns were looming. Again, right here on That's My Opinion, I said that we wrote our own constitution. It's not like the Quran that fell from heaven from God, where we cannot edit it because it's the word of God. Yeah, and Troya. Even sometimes people complain that they were market women, they were fishermen, they were all these people. So then what's the problem? It means we can easily edit it. We wrote it. And now there's a disease killing us. According to the constitution, we have to go for an election. But we wrote it. It did not come from heaven. Let us come together and find a middle ground. Let us skip this election. I said, let us even give ourselves 10, 20, 30, 40 years with a serious decision, a plan, a single-minded red, gold, green. We are all in it. After the set time, if we want to come back and divide and rule for what needs, we can do it. But obviously, in Ghana, there is no room for Ghana. No, you didn't hear me. I said in Ghana, there is no room for Ghana. It's either MPP or NDC. Even when God's spirits come down to Ghana to prophesy, the spirit will prophesy in MPP or Onyankopon Kraba or Bekasacha, MPP or NDC. Even when God comes, he cannot speak into a general Ghana terms that you have a bumper harvest today or you have a No. When God comes, it's John Mahama will win or Ronaldo will win. And when God comes to Ghana, I'm surprised that we haven't even given the man, a voter's ID card. I'm sure by next 4 years, we'll put God on the voter, on the election. Right there, God, Father Almighty. And print a card for him so that he can come and vote. Because at this rate, the way he's interfering with our party, I don't know. Maybe we get Palmer Buckle to vote, by proxy for God. But that's where we are getting. It's either MPP or NDC. Folks, we threw away all our gains, let down our guards. The whole nation was like scrambled eggs. Like scrambled eggs. Following our parties, left, right, and center. The ports were open for those abroad to come in and vote. The bees who also had to go back to school were also given pressure. Mumbi and Aminko school. The pastors who were losing their collection were also giving pressure. Let us go back to church. Folks, confusion, I basa. And you see, the thing is, you as the political head, you can't be seen to be campaigning while you are restricting others. It won't work. You can't be going up and down the nation, gathering crowds and everything, and then come back and say, no, everybody else stay home. So it was free for all. This second wave could have been avoided. These deaths occurring could have been avoided. Folks, and as our topic says, COVID-19 hates politics. Any country which has played or double politics with it has paid the price. Even advanced nations have suffered the price. But the difference is, maybe they can afford to pay the price. And the question is, can we? As we now double or have doubled in it, can we afford the price? After the elections and votings and after all that, is there anyone who really is assured of some magical change that's about to happen because the elections are over? I am yet to meet a Ghanaian who thinks, hooray, thank God, this is it. We are now on the right path to some paradise. I'm yet to. Everybody knows the elections are over and it's business as usual. That's the sentiment. So one then will think, were we all, put in danger just for business as usual? The apps, the coming, the Mimpini, the NDC, MPP, NDC, MP, all that cocktail, all that scrambled and mix, whacked us into danger. Edumasan Road is still the same, folks. Edumasan Road, probably even worse than when the election started. One candidate came to my town, said he was going to build us a KVIP, and started digging a big pit. Folks, my people were saying, but won't you finish building the KVIP before you sink the pit? Oh, no, we start with the pit. So that gets, it's a health hazard. Somebody's sheep actually fell into it. And the elections are over, they're gone. And I'm left with the pit. So, what is it? What was it for? Folks, is it all about just getting power at all costs? Is there any one party in this country that can really solve this country's problem, since we are so split in the middle? Can just one half of the nation wake up and decide that we are going to solve the other problem when the others don't even care if you give them gold or diamond? They are not with you. Folks, I tell you, because the way people are dropping dead. Oh, yeah. The people in ICU struggling and gasping for breath. This second wave of COVID is not a joke. Folks, and I don't know, but it's not the kyire or the truck pushers. No. This virus does not respect anybody. Virus and any No, this is not like cholera or something where the kyire will get you, or some woman sitting next to a gutter will get it too. Debbie. If you're living this vitamin C deficiency life from aircon room, aircon car, no be dealing more. And he's dealing with the decision makers. But folks, before I end, God has given us all the medicine to fight this disease. All. But Brunei has now come up with a vaccine. Obviously, we're waiting for it. And so we're going to take a big chunk of our monies and go and buy this vaccine. But who am I, folks? Who am I to talk about the neem inhalation, ginger, pineapple, the fresh greens. The fresh greens, all those amount of fresh greens available to us. Good, healthy walk every morning, at least 3 times a week. Spend time in the sun. Vitamin D and Doro kakra. But I'm only black, folks. I am only black. Ansah Kwao. What name is that? Kyire. Sometimes I tell people that, when you tell me you're a chief and they want to pray for you, and I say, look, if I was called Samuel, David, and I spoke Hebrew, would you pray for me? No. But if you are Ansah Kwao, then you could not rule your people, and it's not right for you to rule your people. You must be Hebrew, have a bit of light skin, a bit of silky hair. Yes, then, you are acceptable to God. And that's what we are doing. With all the blessings and blessings and blessings upon blessings. Yet, what really matters to us is either retaining power or getting the power. And I'm saying that in Ghana, there is no room for Ghana. But here we are, faced with a virus that completely hates politics. And we absolutely love politics. The fight. The president said the battle is the Lord's. Folks, the battle is the Lord's. But at the moment, it's 0302 216 541. 0302 216 541. We can disagree agreeably, or we can agree. Well, Samuel is on the line. Samuel, good evening.
Good evening, Anna.
Yes, sir.
Thanks very much for this evening's presentation. I think it's very powerful. And as a people, we have to start redefining ourselves and getting ourselves to redeem what has been lost. Ghana, it is pathetic that Ghana cannot identify itself in the place of health to see to it that this is what the roadmap is. Let's do this line. Let's get our population to get to understand what it is. Let's put ourselves together and fight this pandemic. But politics is leading. Instead of bringing the very technical people who have been trained to sit and plan and bring to bear whatever it is deemed fit. Nana, I don't know what is wrong with us. The reality is dawning with us today. Because in 2020, the strain of virus that was circulating was very friendly to Africans and probably Ghana. But the question is, along the line, we agreed people coming in this country should have a test which is negatively declared. How did the new strain enter Ghana? People paid money to be tested to come into this country so as to prevent any other unforeseen virus from entering this country. But it has made its way into the country. How did it come? Nobody is asking the questions. The very trained health personnel have been relegated to the backdrop, and politicians are those who are frontlining the health service. It is pathetic, and we can't continue like this. Nana, good evening.
Good evening, too. Good evening, good evening. Ebo is on the line. Let me speak to Ebo. Hello, Ebo.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
You know what? the first wave that came, we were not careful, and then it entered into this nation. I mean, nobody went to bring this thing into this nation. Now, the second wave, when the people started coming into the nation, when the president opened the airport borders, and then they were coming, I asked myself, I see big planes coming. And then I asked myself, will these people all be checked well before they enter into the nation? These are the questions I was asking myself. For some time, I had a friend at the airport, and he was telling me, look, Ghanaians, some of the Ghanaians, they take bribe and they allow people to just pass through. Will you believe what I'm saying?
Wow.
Nana, will you believe it?
Well, sounds very bizarre.
It is very possible, because now the world we are living in, people don't care to take money for someone to die. People don't care about that. People don't care. And these things still goes on. Look, just yesterday, I was going to Tema. I passed through Tema, and I was asking myself, Titanic, people are in the water, people are everywhere. They are at the beach. And then I was asking myself, has any policeman passed there? Has any soldier man passed there? Has any minister passed there? I was just asking myself that question. I said, we are not serious in this nation. But you see, in time of trouble, those who know the name of the Lord, Jesus Christ, will prevail. The first one, we conquered it. This one too will be conquered. But those, it says, with our eyes we shall see the wicked fall. Thank you.
Thank you very much. 0302216541. Ajimai is on the line. Hello, Ajimai.
Anna, good evening.
Good evening, my brother.
Trust you are well.
I'm very good.
Anna, this evening I'll disagree with you before I agree with you.
Sure.
I think the idea of, releasing the restrictions wasn't based on, the politics or the voting alone. Because, one, the issue of the number of cases Ghana were recovering, was one of the major factors. And also, there were a lot of pressure from all stakeholders, including the pastors, the churches, from companies, and also especially the private school teachers, because they were complaining that their businesses were collapsing. But the issue is, if you have your business, but don't have the men to work for you, how can you do the business? But supposing right after the election, the restrictions were released, then you will say that they did it purposely for election. Secondly, where I will agree with you is that though the restrictions were released, but at least you're supposed to have maintained some. Or after you realize that you fought the restrictions to some certain level, then you go back to the restrictions. Now you sit down for the COVID, the changeover to take us along. Now, as we are in now, we are thinking of going for lockdown. Supposing we went on lockdown those days, after that, the restrictions, some of the restrictions were steady or were maintained, we wouldn't have gotten to this stage. So for the politics aspect, no. But all the restrictions were released. That one was also a problem, Nana.
Well, thank you very much, Ajimai. This one says the second wave was definitely avoidable, as you have indicated. It was a common sense approach, but unfortunately our leaders sacrificed the lives of Ghanaians for their selfish ambition. At least the history of the 1918 Spanish flu informed us of a second wave, which is more dangerous and deadly if leaders don't put the necessary measures in place to avoid it. So why didn't we learn from history? When the first variant was discovered in the UK in December, later the EU nations and the US banned all flights from UK and South Africa. Till date, flights are coming from UK to Ghana. The science has proven that the recent spike were all imported from outside. Do we need rocket science to tell us what to do? Common sense leadership has eluded us, hence the increase the death rate in Ghana. And on the line is Kwabna in USA. Hello, Kwabna.
Hello, Nana. Nana, thank you so much for your program.
You're welcome.
And I want to thank you and I want to thank God that your program fell on the first day of the month. This, whatever we're going to learn today, would serve as a guide as we go through this month. I didn't join your program early, but I heard something about the attitude of the Ghanaian. Is it what you're talking about?
Well, I'm talking about
pertaining to COVID-19.
COVID-19 that we could have done better.
Yes, and Nana, you are right. And since Rollins died, I've been going back to YouTube to listen to interviews that were done with the ex-military's daughters, and one of such videos was Miss Esther Odatilante. And during the interview with an outside media outlet, he read something from the National Reconciliation Commission's report, the executive report. And if you have the chance, Nana, I want you to go back and read that report. The commission, they did a very good job, and they were able to identify the traits of the ordinary Ghanaian, like the attitude of the Ghanaian. And since that report, we haven't done anything, and that's the kind of people we are. We spend so much money on an investigative piece, and we don't go back and learn from it. And if we are able to go back and learn and to know what the commissioners, the learned commissioners, some of them are around, like Palmer Buckles, what they wrote in the report, we wouldn't be making all these mistakes that affect our daily lives. So, to me, Nana, what is occurring right now, to me, it's not surprising. Is the Ghanaian attitude, and we need to work on it. And to me, it's I don't know what to say, but Nana, it's a grim news. It's not good at all.
Thank you very much. That's Kopna from all the way from the USA. Candidly speaking, the COVID-19 executive directives by the president have become symbolic, just like most of our strict liability road law. Social distancing and mask wearing, which are at the epicenter of the COVID-19 safety protocols, are blatantly disregarded by Okada and Pragia operators in the full glare of the law enforcement agencies and the Ghana Medical Association without any action nor word or caution. The coup de grace of the current upsurge is recent past electioneering and the ugly mass demonstrations that ensued. We are our own enemies with this upsurge, and I have personally lost two close high-profile golfing partners of mine, one after within the last 2 weeks. Nana, I may hear, but on the line is Jojo. Hello, Jojo.
Oh, Jojo, this is Jojo calling from Labadi.
Jojo, let me hear you.
Thank you very much, my brother. You see, the hypocrisy is too much. We were in this country when America issued statements advising its citizens that when they are coming to Ghana, they should be very careful because of this pandemic. Look at the number of people who have died in America. Those who are having advanced medical teams with all the equipment. In Ghana, we don't have even quarter of it. So they were even warning their people. And we still open our airport in Ghana here. And these flights are coming in and out. Simply because of politics. And some of us, or some of the people are afraid to say it. Now look, private schools are putting pressure on the government to reopen schools simply because of the money that they'll get. Now the president said the pandemic is not that severe in schools, but you wait and let one student get it and see how it will spread. Are we waiting for that time? And what are our contingent plans? So we shouldn't sit down for the worst to happen to us before we become proactive. No. Nana, thank you this evening.
Thank you too, BB in North Cape. Nana, can you imagine that after the COVID money was shared? No, you don't have. You don't have proof for that, so you can just say money was shared. But on the line was Mohammed. Hello, Mohammed.
Yes, sir, Nana.
Yeah, let me hear you.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
You are well done.
Thank you.
This motherland, I think we don't know what to even say because of the contradiction of people is too much. We don't know who to believe, either to believe the government or to believe the individual thought. You see, this politics seems to be like political train because of the reason why we are saying that. Look at before we vote. People forget to say something about COVID. They fool all of us to go and write our name again under COVID. Like we are no more Ghanaian with that new voters ID card. So if they say the problem is going high, the rate is going high, don't we think that is because of writing new name, going through processing of checking names? All this is included of what is going on. So if it's true that COVID is in our motherland, we should take care of our doing things, then we will manage the problem. Now, let me tell you, my children are in the house, not going to school. My everything is not going through COVID. My business is not going through. There's nothing going on. So what are we going to do? The government should support us with the COVID fund. We don't know the kind of people that rejoice in the COVID fund. The government should try and help the poor, the needy people, those people that are in need, so that we'll manage the COVID. Then our motherland will move forward. Thank you for your good work, Nana. God bless you.
God bless you too. Hello, Nana. I agree with your submission 100%. Then the information Mr. N, Minister Designate for Information, said there is no data backing the claim political activity is also the cause of the second wave. Nana, the president said we should observe social distances. Nana, I don't have a car and I take trotro. We don't observe social distance inside the trotro and I can contract COVID-19. And the president is telling me the battle is the Lord. You, Mate, Chief of Staff. This one says, Nana, apart from the leisure centers and churches, I'm worried about the Okada riders, passengers being complaining on your station. Seriously, why is the government allowing this service to carry on at this stage of high COVID-19 infection in the country? After all, it's not a legalized mode of transportation, so why not stop them for now? Please, where is the social distances? Most riders and passengers not wearing masks. How safe are those patronizing the Okada at this time of our lives? Nana in Spintex Road, and on the phone is Tete. Hello, Tete.
Hello, Nana.
Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, my brother.
Yeah, Nana, this COVID thing. I have had 3 people die of COVID.
Oh,
in fact, I was at 1 week last Friday.
Oh, dear.
I've seen 2 people in critical condition in hospital infected with COVID, and I didn't think they would survive.
Wow.
But they did. COVID is very, very real, and people are taking chances out of that. But COVID is as real as hepatitis, malaria, TB, AIDS. I am wondering, over 65,000 infected cases of COVID, 416 deaths. What is the percentage of that? I am wondering about the death rates of malaria, which has a cure, but people are dying out of that. COVID so far has no known cure except vaccines, and yet the recovery rate is so high. Sometimes I wonder whether we are not being freaking out of this, even though, like I told you, I have 3 people personally who have died out of COVID, and 2 I have seen in critical conditions. I go out and I wear my face mask. I try to observe all the protocols. But I look out there, and people are nonchalant about it. Why? Because all the news we keep hearing about COVID casualties, CEO of this, MD of that, this person of this high caliber and all that. We are not hearing of COVID casualties of the low ends like, excuse me to use that, kyire and trotomate and all that. So as far as they are concerned, this does not affect them because they also look at the recovery rate. 65,000 and only 416 are dead. Then why should we? I go to the airport, we keep social distancing. But when we get into the aircraft, we are sitting seat by seat. What does that tell us? Somehow, something is not right. Either we are just being afraid, for which we have been told not to be afraid, fear not. Or something, because the president says conferences can still go on. And yet we should be mindful of COVID protocols. And other social activities, no. Something isn't right. This COVID thing, everything about it doesn't make sense. To me, it doesn't make sense.
I share your sentiments there. Nana, the government has withdrawn the motivation for health workers at the time COVID is surging. We are being demotivated at the time the pressure is high, and many of our colleagues are catching it and dying. God save us. BB in North K. But Ebenezer is on the line. Hello, Ebenezer.
Good evening, Nana.
Good evening.
Good evening, Nana.
Good evening, Ebenezer.
Nana, I am not a doctor, but I do know potential vaccines have to pass through what you call clinical trial stages. You know, make sure the vaccine is safe, make sure it will elicit enough of an immune response, and so on. It's not as simple as the word vaccine may sound. That is why we should have kept the virus at bay right from the onset. Now, it appears the leadership intentionally creates the mess and tries to tackle it to show they are working. The virus is here, Nana. We ought to be tested, not must. Are you with me? Nana, the immediate past speaker, Professor Kwao, what did he do? He ordered the testing of all parliamentarians and staff when he knew wearing of mask is mandatory. And what was the outcome? You and I both know. Okay? The current speaker, Bagbin, has followed in his predecessor's footsteps and ordered the testing of all those who frequent the house. Just yesterday, I heard him say that I was going to mention the names of all those people who had not tested. That is the right way to go. The last one, in Accra Girls Senior High School, 6 cases were recorded. They, when I say they, I mean the Ghana Education Service and the Ghana Health Service, immediately ordered the testing of the students and staff. Okay? A total of 314 persons was tested, and it came out that 49 others had the virus. Okay? Increasing the total to 55. Steps were then taken to immediately quarantine them. So, you know, the issue is not whether it is the 10th wave or 20th wave. The issue is that we ought to be tested. That is the first step. Test must be the solution. Mask wearing is not the panacea. It helps, but it's certainly not the panacea for the virus. I'm winding up. The immediate, the health minister designate, now can we say many in some, he wore a World Health Organization approved mask brought from Geneva, but he got the virus. We are joking in this country. Lord have mercy.
Lord have mercy, my brother. Lord have mercy on the soul of Mrs. Josephine Mana Awosu Yawo Kwao. Mrs. Josephine Mana Awosu Yawo Kwao, 1951 to 2021. Daniel.
Yes, Nana.
My son has given you 30 seconds.
Nana, I'll do it in 20 seconds.
Good.
I'm sad for our country, Ghana. I just want to ask Ghanaians today, the kyires, the people who die at Akubushi, and the rest, where do they keep them? May the God of Ghana speak for Ghanaians. Amen.
And the good people will say amen. Thank you to our external producer, Awood Ansah. Thank you to our youngest listener, Yamien Yunyam. Ami Ajua Asari in Cove Town, nearly missed you. Abe Kusan Kofi was on the ones and twos. NS Menu is getting ready. Is on standby. Means you can't touch that dial. Means you cannot touch that dial. Well, folks, until the lions have their own historians, the tales of hunting would always glorify the hunter. I am the Ansah Kwao IV, Chief of the Little Republic of Akwemwe Dumasa. Monday, I'll be right here with you again.